Welcome to the Cancer and Courage podcast. My name is Giselle Gamby and I am your host, and I'm very pleased to be here with you today. Today, I want to share with you three common threads that I have seen amongst the people that I coach who have cancer. And before I go on, I do want to say that, of course, what I'm about to share is not relevant for every single person who has cancer. But I think it's very worth sharing in case what I say to you today allows you to identify that maybe, just maybe, one or two or all three of the belief systems that I've seen with the people that I have coached, just maybe one or two or three of them might resonate for you. And if they resonate for you, well, then you're more armed with a level of self-awareness that will allow you perhaps to make different choices. So these are three different belief systems at the level of identity. So identity meaning the person that we believe we need to be and that we live our life from. The three belief systems that I've seen amongst most of the people that I've coached, not everybody, but amongst most of the people that I've coached, are these. The need to control, that is, I have to say, right up on the top of the list. Then there is the need to be perfect. Again, you can imagine how someone who needs to control also believes in the need for perfection. And then there's the third belief system that I've seen play out, I'd probably say 90% out of the times. And then there's the third belief system that I have to say I've seen play out more often than not with the people that I coach, and that is the need to fulfill obligations. It's all about obligations. So just summarizing, the need to control, the need to be perfect, and the belief that they need to fulfill obligations. So cancer comes along, and what's obvious is that you can't control cancer, that you can't apply the belief system of perfection. In fact, to the person who believes that they need to be perfect, cancer is something that can be very challenging to them because they can go to a place of what have I done wrong in order to have this cancer? Where did I get it wrong? What should I have done differently? And that is not what I'm talking about here. And then there's the third one, the need to carry out obligations. Now, of course, cancer comes along, and cancer is something that you cannot control. You can't control the diagnosis. You can't control the prognosis. You can certainly respond to how you lead yourself through the cancer journey, but you can't control it. And then, of course, to the person who has believed that they've needed to be perfect and to live their life in perfection, well, gosh, cancer can be extremely challenging to that person because they can go to a place of self-blame and self-judgment, and they can really be hard on themselves by ruminating, what did I do wrong? What should I have done better? And that is not what I'm talking about. And that is certainly not the response that I encourage when I'm coaching somebody with cancer. But it's the default response to someone who has lived from an identity of needing to be perfect and perfection needing to be up there in their life because it's extremely challenging to that type of person. And then cancer comes along to the person who has lived their life from obligation. And then all of a sudden, because of the cancer journey, those obligations can't be fulfilled as they once were. And so there's those obligations start being dismantled. Now, what is the medicine to treat, let's say, those belief systems and those identities? It's probably the last thing that most people who have lived their life from control, perfection, and obligation would think is the way forward. And the way forward is humility. Humility is one of the most powerful places that we can go within ourselves. Because with humility, there's an inherent willingness to be honest with self. With humility, there's an inherent willingness to self-reflect. With humility, there's an inherent willingness to even let go. And so humility really is the first port of call in response to those identities of control, perfection, and the need to carry out obligations. Humility is such a powerful transformative agent because through that act of humility, it asks us to become a wholelet. Because through that act of humility, it asks us to become a lot less attached to who we have known ourselves to be, to who we have believed we've needed to be. And it starts to break some ground where some freedom can be felt. And in that freedom, humility asks questions like, what really matters now that I've been given this cancer diagnosis? And that it is shaking up my sense of self and my relationship with life. What really matters now to me, now that I've been given this catalyst of cancer to go to this place of humility? In that freedom also are questions about, well, if I lived my life from a place of freedom and a place of self-love and a place of authenticity, what would I let go of? What parts of me would I let go of? What choices and decisions that I've made in my life would I let go of? Or maybe would I do differently now? And with that freedom also comes an inquiry about, well, if I was to live my life from that place of self-love and authenticity and from a place of knowing what matters, truly matters in my life, is there a sense of renewed purpose that I'm now contemplating? Because I've been given this catalyst called cancer to have a renewed relationship with myself and a renewed relationship with life. So I hope that you can feel just the difference in energy from when I was speaking about the identities of control and perfection and obligation to where we just landed here. It's so much more detached. It's so much softer. It's so much more self-reflective and contemplative and self-loving. It's so much more embracive of who we really are and the choices that we can make in our life when we remember that we actually do have choice as to how we see ourselves and how we identify ourselves to be and the choices that we make from there. Thank you for being with me. My final comment in this episode today is that I created a meditation series called Mindset is Medicine. It's a 6-part meditation series that, if you are truly present with the guided journey that I take you on, they are a very powerful companion to your cancer journey in relation to self-reflection, in relation to taking responsibility for how you self-lead, in relation to the energy from which you are holding yourself in and responding to the cancer. Because one thing that I'm really aware of is there is so much treatment for the body, thankfully, in the cancer journey. But there really is little treatment for the mind. It's why I coach. To be able to hold what is going on in our minds, to be able to hold ourselves from love and allow ourselves to lead through this cancer journey from love instead of fear, because it's incredible what is possible when we lead from love instead of fear. I have been coaching people with cancer for the past 6 years, which has been the greatest privilege for me. And I had a really big pull. How can I support more people hold themselves more powerfully through the cancer journey outside of my coaching? And the answer was create a meditation series that's really there to help people self-lead powerfully, to see what is possible when they lead from love rather than fear. The link to Mindset is Medicine is in the show notes. It is hosted on a private podcast platform. So if it's something that you want to give yourself, you can click onto the link in the show notes and purchase the program, and then you will be taken to a place where you'll immediately be able to download that private podcast and be able to use whenever you want. Now, one thing I want to say about this is you can use these meditations with eyes closed, sitting down. Absolutely. And you can also use these meditations, as some of my clients do, when they go for a walk. One of them even takes it when she goes for a run, or when you do weights, or when you're in treatment, if that's possible and appropriate. You do not need to use them when you are in a closed eye position only. Thank you again. See you the next time. Ciao, ciao.